Some runners ran in Union Jack costumes to pay their own tribute to the monarch. Image, Getty. It was a somber moment at the start line ahead of one of the world's biggest half marathons. The Bishop of Berwick also addressed the crowds on behalf of all faith leaders, and the nation anthem was played before the event in Newcastle. Some runners ran in Union Jack costumes to pay their own tribute to the monarch. Race founder Sir Brendan Foster addressed the runners before the start, and later said he believed the Queen would have wanted the run to go ahead. He said, "We felt it was in tune with what would have been the Queen's wishes in our view, people coming together as a community, coming together to do what they aimed for, to be the best version of themselves they could be to raise money for charities. She spent a lot of her life raising money for charity, so we felt it was the right thing to do." Elsewhere, more than 30,000 horse racing fans yesterday paid their respects to the Queen as they watched her favourite sport. All racing had been cancelled since her death on Thursday, and the famous St. Leger event, the world's oldest classic, was put back 24 hours to yesterday afternoon. A 2-minute silence was held at the Doncaster racecourse venue, with jockeys in black armbands. Opera singer Ella J sang the national anthem of God Save the King for the first time at a British track since the accession of King Charles III to the throne. Jockey Frankie Dettori, who rode for the Queen for 30 years, looked visibly emotional during the tribute. Frankie, 51, held back his trademark flying dismount after he won the first race. He said, "There is a bit of an empty mood in the weighing room. We're carrying on and having to deal with it, but it's still fresh in the memory. We are going to miss her a lot." The jockey said he would be bursting with pride when he wore Her Majesty's purple, gold and scarlet racing colours. There were also similar scenes at Chepstow Racecourse, in South Wales, which fell silent in tribute before racing started. Horse racing had been due to take place at Musselburgh, in East Lothian, but was called off as a mark of respect as the Queen's coffin was driven from Balmoral to Edinburgh, which is close to the racecourse. Elizabeth II had a lifelong love of racing and was a leading owner with more than 1,800 winners. She often described being at her happiest at the races, but she was also a leading breeder. A horse bred by her actually won on Saturday in the U.S. city of Baltimore. West Newton, a 6-year-old gelding, rallied from 6th place to win by a half-length and record his 4th victory in 19 races. Her final UK winner had been Love Affairs at Goodwood, just a few days before she died. She also had a second at Epsom on the day she died. Her next horse scheduled to run is Mellow Yellow, which is entered in the 3:20 at Great Yarmouth in Norfolk on Wednesday. Racing has been cancelled for Monday, September 19, when the Queen's funeral will take place. Meanwhile, England and South Africa cricketers wore black armbands for the second day of the third test at the Oval in London. The Union Jack flew at half-mast over the ground and advertising hoardings were turned black. On Saturday, it had become the first sports ground where God Save the King was sung since 1952. There was also a minute's silence for the Queen before the Italian Grand Prix in Monza, which was impeccably observed. A ripple broke out at the end of it as Britain's Lewis Hamilton prepared to race. Hollywood actor Sylvester Stallone was also in the crowd. Football was one of the few sports where tributes did not take place inside grounds as all games were called off. However, the decision has been criticized by some leading figures for denying football fans the chance to pay their own tribute. Match of the Day host Gary Lineker said, "Given the wonderful and moving scenes at the Oval, it feels a real shame that football is not taking place this weekend, therefore missing the opportunity to pay its respects."